Okay, we've just imported our photos into Lightroom, and we want to go in and we want to make those photos really easy to find in the future. We want to do that by adding some keywords. So let's look at how to do that. If you're like me, sometimes you're like, I don't even know where the photos I just imported are. Well, Lightroom makes that pretty simple. Come over here to your My Photos tab on the left-hand side, and you can see underneath all photos you have your recently added. And if I expand that out, I can click on the photos that were imported yesterday at 2:23 p.m. Those were the last ones I imported. There were 6 of them. That sounds about right. And look at that. There they are. They're the photos we imported in our last video. What I want to do is I want to add keywords and tags to these photos. So I want to be able to do that with all of them. So I'm going to get away from the detail view where it only shows me one photo up big, and I want to be able to edit and change all of my photos. So I'm going to go to my photo grid, and I'm going to click on one of these and then press Control A to select all 6 of my photos. Then I'm going to come down here to the bottom right hand corner and click on Keywords, or press K on my keyboard to bring that up. And you can see I've already added a bunch of keywords to these photos ahead of time, but let's add some more. And you can see it is applying them to all of the photos. So all of these photos have a little green in them, so I'm just going to add the word green and press Enter. And they were all taken in the studio, so I'll add the word studio and maybe spell it correctly, and then just press Enter. And you could keep going, adding as many as you want, and you can see those, again, are getting applied to all of them. But what if I want to apply some keywords to just 1 or 2 of these? Like these 2 over here, to me, are the best photos. They're the ones that kind of make the crown, which is what I was going for, what I was hoping for in this photo shoot. So I want to add the keyword crown to just these 2 photos. So what I'm going to do is click somewhere in the black to deselect all of them. And then I'm going to click on this one and then hold down Control and click on that one. And I'm just going to come up here and just type in the word crown, C-R-O-W-N, and press Enter. And now crown has been applied. Again, it says applied to all, but remember, I only have 2 photos selected. So it's saying applied to all of the photos that are selected. So if I come back and click on one of these, you can see crown is not there, but as soon as I click over here, it goes to crown for me. So why are we doing all this? Well, let's say it's a few years later and we're trying to find those photos. And now, instead of 700 and some photos, we now have 20,000 photos in our Lightroom. And we're like, man, I wish I could find those photos I took with the eyedropper all those years ago in the studio. Well, if I come in here and just type in the word eyedropper, which was one of my keywords, I could just click on here and you can see, boom, there are my 6 photos right there. Or maybe I remember that I knew that I had some photos that made a crown and that I want to see those. I just type in the word crown, and you can see this time it only pulls up the 2 that were tagged with the keyword crown. It's kind of interesting. One other thing that is really cool about Lightroom is that if I come in and type in water, remember I did tag all of those with the word water. Let's see what happens when I press Enter. Look at this. It not only found the photos that I tagged with the word water, but it's also analyzed all my other photos, and it's found a bunch of them that have water in there. So these photos right here were not tagged with the word water. Lightroom just recognized that they have water in them, and they showed up when I searched for water. But notice it did put the photos that I tagged with the word water first, which I do appreciate. Let me show you one other example of this. So to clear out stuff you've searched for, you can just click on that X right here. Or if you've got a bunch of filters in here, you can just click on that one right there, and that clears all of them. I do have some photos in here of some deer and some elk that have not been tagged. Let's see what happens if I search for deer. And let's see what Lightroom does. Look at this. It went through all of my photos, and it found a lot of these that have deer. Now, some of these are elk and not deer. I'm going to forgive Lightroom for that. I don't think that's that big of a deal. But pretty cool that it recognized that some of these are photos of deer. And look at this. These deer in this photo are tiny, and they just take up a small portion. But Lightroom still recognized it and pulled up that photo when I searched for deer, which is really, really impressive. Guys, this is just another real nice, easy way to keep your photos organized and stored and be able to find them later on in life. I highly recommend that you be adding keywords to everything that you import in Lightroom going forward.